Okay, I'm going to call the Water and Sewer Commissioners meeting to order at 8:38 on January 13th, 2026. Members present are Kyle LaHoose and Phil Stinchfield, Bob Sullivan, Systems Manager, and Colin here, myself. First order of business is to review and approve meeting minutes. On the first section there was a blank there. I guess minutes recorder didn't hear the date on that, so that was November 18th, 2025. And then on the last one, the motion to adjourn was made by Phil, which was, we filled that in as well. And that was for the December 9th. 2025, you have 2 meeting minutes of the meeting. Anything else on the meeting minutes? Anybody any questions?
Nope. No.
So I guess if everybody's happy with those, we just need a motion to approve those.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Kyle, seconded by Phil. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have the Systems Manager reports. Looks like we have the water
So we have the
report.
water, the sewers have been running ragged over here, so I'll get into some of that once we finish the water report. So water, we flowed 5.964 million gallons for an average of 198,807 gallons a day. We used 481.75 gallons of KOH, 165.75 gallons of batch chlorine solution. Coliform samples were clean for the month. We did the second set of UCMR samples. They were taken on the first, and we're still waiting for the results on those. Repairs, he replaced the EMEC KOH metering pump with a wall chem at Turbine. Did the tank inspections, the anti-siphon valves were inspected, and the pH calibrations at 3 pump stations, the new pH probe and amp at Glen, new analyzer filters at Turbine, changed the original battery in the Church Street tank Mission Solar RTU. We didn't replace any meters this month. We did one final read. No new connections or meter installs. The other work, we set up the traffic control trailers that we have up on Depot for that culvert reconstruction work. He regenerated the dryer media in Davis Station air dryers. Approximately 6 hours of online cybersecurity training. Everybody had to do all the cybersecurity training before the end of the year. Bulk KOH delivery to the 3 pump stations. We did some non-payment shutoffs, and then we had a meeting with Census in Core, Maine to get the metering stuff done. So working with our billing software. Any questions on any of those?
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
On the sewer side, we were kind of just getting into it at the last meeting, in the meeting minutes, so comments about the rooftop unit over here and the problem in tank 2. So the problem in tank 2 was the decanter pipe did snap off at the flex coupling, like I had said at the last meeting. I kind of anticipated that's what it was. So while that was going on, the influent valve broke and it wouldn't close. So we had to quickly shift to tank 1, which was the influent and the decant valve failed on those. So we had to replace both those valves in order to get that tank online. While we were trying to get that tank online, the decant weir was also having problems. We got it open enough so that it'll work, so that we could transfer tank 2 to tank 1. But during that whole time, we had to manually open and close valves every 3 hours in order to keep the plant running. So we got through that part. So we got tank 1 online now, and tank 2 is down. We had to get through toxicity testing, which was last week, so we're not all that confident about that testing with trying to switch over to the new tank and having the decant. We were having a problem, so we'll see how we make out on those tests. But now that that test is done, we'll start taking down tank 2 so we can get that pipe fixed so we can fill that tank back up. But that was part of the problems. Then the hot water tank also died. So the rooftop unit is dead. We gotta get that replaced. The hot water tank, that's dead. Gotta get that replaced, can't use that. That hot water heater also flushes the lines for the alum going to the tanks. I don't know if you recall in the past, I know you two haven't been here, because once we instituted that hot water flush after the chemical dosage, we haven't had a problem since. But before, we used to get the line clogged up. For whatever reason, they didn't sleeve it so you could replace the line. They just direct buried the line. And alum has a lot of aluminum salt that settles out of the line when it gets cool. So in the colder months, the ground starts to get colder, and those lines start to precipitate the alum out. They would block up, and then we'd have to try to jet them out and stuff. And we had a company come in with a tiny little jet to try to jet those lines out. We finally got them cleaned back out, and then, like I said, we instituted that hot water flush and haven't had a problem since. So we're flushing with cold water. It doesn't work as well, but hopefully that'll get us by for now until we can get the hot water heater replaced.
So just a basic hot water heater?
No, unfortunately. Because it's tied to the eyewash emergency showers and eyewash stations. The plumbing code requires it to have a hot water heater that'll maintain a certain temperature for a certain period of time. It ends up being a like $20,000 hot water heater, which is ridiculous for something that hasn't been used since, we use it for everything else. I mean, it also provides the hot water for the building and that flush line, like I said, but that's the original hot water heater from the treatment plant build. So the HVAC guy says you get more than your money's worth out of that one, but it is a very expensive unit to go in. So that on top of the rooftop unit, plus at this point, that's 2 out of the 3 units that we need to switch over to natural gas. So we should just move forward, but unfortunately we're going without heat and without hot water in that building. And now I've got to go through the process of putting it out to bid in order to get that done. And Matt wasn't here, so I can talk to him about what process he wants to use for that. I'm hoping I can get 3 prices under $50,000 so it doesn't have to go out on the Compass part, but, but we'll work towards getting that fixed now. But that's another huge expense on top of the huge expense we already paid trying to get those valves done and everything. So we're probably looking at close to $100,000 of unanticipated issues that we had. So yeah, the wastewater side's kind of been a nightmare in the last month. So
So when do you anticipate all that being?
I got to work on it this week, so see if I can get 3 companies to give me prices on it.
So the first priority is getting. I would think would be the heat, right? Get that.
So the heat, I did.
So there was those mini splits over there?
No, there is a mini split for the electrical room,
yeah.
But that's more because that room needs to be air conditioned more than heated.
Yeah.
But I did just notice this morning when I got out of my car, I'm like, that thing's making noise too, so killing me with the heat. So, and then if you hear the heat kick on in the garage, that one's making noise. So I think the internal fan bearing. Steve looked at it, so he thinks that bearing's going. So we're gonna have to have that fixed, but now I gotta get him to look at that, the mini split. But the heat for that building is a rooftop unit, so it's both AC and heat, gas fired. So when they came in and figured out that one was dead, I told them order the heating unit. It was just under 10 grand, I think. So I went ahead and ordered the unit. But with all the work that needs to be done and now the hot water heater, it puts us over, so I'm going to have to put it out to bid to finish the rest of the room.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted to get the heater ordered so that it was on its way because we are in winter. So.
Yeah, you have to get that.
So right now we've lucked out with the temperature. We got the door open from the electric room so that the heat from the mini split will at least get out into the building a little bit. So that's where we stand with that building.
Okay. Always something.
Yep.
Anything else on reports? Okay, so next we have the staffing update.
We did interview, me and Kyle. We interviewed with one applicant, the other one didn't show for the interview. We did offer the job to that applicant and he accepted, so he said that he could start on February 2nd.
Very good.
So move forward with that.
Okay, thank you guys for working on that.
Yeah, should be a good fit.
Good. How about on the wastewater side? I know I didn't see the ad for that.
Yeah, I gotta put them all out again.
Okay.
I went up and talked to Lisa and she said she had messed up that posting.
Okay.
It had some of the wrong information in the posting. I'm not sure how we got it confused, but so I'll redo that. I'm also gonna get them all throughout all the trade things again.
Yeah, try this. I seen the fire department they did Indeed, so I'm assuming we can do that as well. So I would just check with Matt or John,
Yeah.
whoever set that up and see. I think you're gonna get a wider variety. Don't you agree?
Mm.
Yeah.
Of applicants on that. I think it goes out a little further.
Yeah, it goes out all over the place.
Yeah. I know. I think I've seen it. Actually, it was on a Facebook
I
post.
think we had attempted that once in the past, and that's when we got the doctor from Florida and the pilot from California that applied.
On Indeed.
It was one of those things, Monster or Indeed. I think we put it out there.
Yeah, I think you'll get a more you'll get some odd ones.
Yeah. But I did notice because other towns on it, you can see all the.
Yeah.
It's a good. I use it just for reference to see what the pay scales were and everything else. Looking at it. But yeah, I think if we could do that, that would be great. I think it just gets it all a little further. That's all. Okay, so that'll be. You're gonna try to get that done.
Yep.
Yeah. That's an important.
It is.
Very
We need to get
important
that one
position. Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Might be an issue of discussing money on that, so we'll have to make some decisions as to what point we go to try to get that built. So
Yeah, I haven't looked at the salaries on that to see what other ones are advertised. I did the water one. I knew that was pretty.
yeah, well, I know on the sewer side, the one person I was talking to trying to work with took another job in another town, and I know the other town, and it was just kind of overseeing the maintenance part of it, and they started him at like 42 something.
Mm-hmm.
Gave him 5 weeks vacation right off the bat, so
Yeah.
you know we couldn't even compete with that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if you ask around, you ask any of the salesmen, every town's looking, everybody can't fill the positions, and that's the problem. Everybody's like, well, we just got to pay a lot more money,
Yeah.
and it just makes it harder
Drives everything up.
for everyone else. So
Right.
supply and demand, I guess.
I know I mentioned to you before, but I think maybe we ought to look at in the event that we can't get the staffing that we need, maybe look at outside contractors
I've
to
talked
come
to
in
one, yeah.
to see and go through that exercise and see what that cost is to have. If we were to hire, say, RH White, they have their employees come and operate just to make sure we don't
Contract
operate
operators,
right.
Right.
Might not be that far off.
Hmm?
So that might not be that far off, the pricing points. 'Cause you're not doing the benefits as much.
Yeah. I thought it would be a good exercise to go through just so we
Yeah.
had that as a backup.
Right.
Oh, we should go through it anyway, just to see where it's landing financially. Okay, anything else on staffing?
No.
Okay. Project updates?
We have 2 projects. We got an extension on the water asset management project to finalize that. We had the final report. They sent it to me, as I told you guys before. I went through it and kind of tore a lot of that apart.
Mm-hmm.
Sent it back to them. They're supposed to make the updates. I just got an email the other day that the top project manager for that engineering firm reviewed and gave his comments to the people that are writing the report. So I should see that, kind of the final draft, sometime soon. And I just gotta update the hours that we put into it to get it to the state and get reimbursed for all that. And then once they finalize that, we can get the report to you guys so you can see what they have in there. So it should be pretty close to the end of that.
Okay.
The other project that was going on was the, as mentioned in the water report, the culvert work up on Depot Street. That work's done. Traffic lights work great on that project, but I saved a ton of money on details because with that project it shut down one lane, so if we had to have details it would have been 24/7 up there. So we're finally getting good use out of the traffic lights. And I think they worked well. Some people got aggravated in the beginning. I think there was one accident, but I got a message that somebody said, oh, somebody got in an accident because of your traffic lights, and then the police chief came back saying, oh, that was an OUI, not a traffic light issue. So overall, I think they worked well. It's a little irritating having to wait when you don't normally have to wait for a red light, but you need to have it set up for enough time to clear the people out and got to factor in rubberneckers and everything else. So, but overall, that worked well. The project seemed to come out pretty well up there. That wall shouldn't go anywhere again, not in any of our lifetimes anyway. So that'll be done. Now we're just waiting for the road work to be done. There was some discussion on changing, I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys last time, I don't remember if it was in between then and now or if it was during that time, but changing the Martin Road where it connects to Depot. One of the things, we were up there with the engineer looking at all the curbing and stuff and what we needed to do as part of that project, and cars are just blowing through there without stopping at Martin Road, so it got one person, like a dog with a bone, to start looking at it saying this needs to be redesigned, how to come out. So you got to kind of come out this way, perpendicular, instead of just bleeding into it. I went through all that process and went to the safety committee in town and voted to leave it as is. So that didn't change any. So now we're just waiting for the curbing, sidewalks, and that'll be done this way. So other than that, everything's pretty much done with that project. Except for that, like I said, we change all the structure tops for the sewer, the drain, catch basins. And they rehab the road, so solve some of the issues that we have with some manhole covers like that. So that's about it for the project updates.
Okay, thank you for that. Update on Synagro.
So Synagro, we got all the lab results in finally on that. We got the application, so Kyle, you said you wanted to be involved, so we'll just figure out time to actually do. Set up a meeting with them. Have that discussion with them.
Sounds good.
Hopefully move forward. Look at some of the other.
You haven't heard anything from them directly, Synagro, as far as timelines or anything?
Other than what we'd said before.
Right, transition.
Basically up in July 1st, we'd be going somewhere else. They said that they would still help us if they could.
Right.
Until they found something.
So you,
If they're available.
so you were doing the, was there a report you had to give them an analysis on?
Yeah, we had to analyze all the
Solids,
sludge. There was a few things on there that we didn't routinely do.
Grease.
But we did the whole battery of stuff that they wanted. So we had the full report. That's all the greases we got typically test for here.
So does everything look okay?
I'm not sure what their parameters are. They won't tell me what they are.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're high in aluminum, high in phosphorus, stuff like that. But nothing out of the ordinary, nothing you would expect for the type of process that we have. PFAS levels are very low in wastewater, so that's the big concern with everyone right now. Mainly because everybody's treatment process doesn't remove it. The incineration process that most places go through don't break down the PFAS contaminants because they have to be brought to 1,000 degrees centigrade in order to break the bond. Most places around here only incinerate to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's kind of a big difference there as to what temperature they're burning at in order to break that bond. So the ash that you end up with is fairly highly concentrated with PFAS. No big concern right now as to why people don't want to sell sludge anyways. But I would think ours is highly advantageous sludge for people to have. It's
Minus just the solid
better
number.
in community.
Just light and solids.
Yeah, it's still, if we had a thickening process, but I've gone through a few of those, trying to figure out what might be affordable, and everything's expensive. Between labor and equipment and just the operational cost, the side point of it.
It's doubling.
Yeah.
What we're doing now.
It's crippling to this department. So I anticipate our sludge removal, which I put in there, which we'll get into in a little bit. Probably a 50% increase in the sludge disposal. But even looking at a 50% increase on the sludge disposal, it's still less than
The capital expenditure
Right,
of
the capital,
staffing and huge.
So albeit not good to do an extra 50% on the biggest line item we have, it's still more affordable than the alternative. But now we just need to make the condition of the Blackstone to get them to accept our service.
So have you communicated with any other plants? And what are their thought process, and what are they doing?
Some of them are going to do the thickening, putting in that whole process, millions of dollars to upgrade. That's only, so they're putting in the thickening, and then they still have to get rid of the sludge, so they still have that cost.
Yeah.
It's just that, they save that 50%. But the volume that a lot of the other plants, the bigger plants, they generate a lot more, but they also generate a lot more revenue to offset that cost. A lot of them are banking on, the Centerville that we send to. There's a couple other plants and the people taking over Centerville. And when I talk to some of the people that are kind of counting on that, don't understand that those are all going to get preference to Rhode Island customers, so because of Rhode Island. The Rhode Island customers that are going to Centerville that may not be going to Centerville is going to probably get off-roaded to them, and those spots aren't going to be available.
Do you know what the standard contract interval is typically? Like Upper Blackstone or anything like that? Is that situation by situation, do you know? Or is that, they have a standard
It's kind of town
X amount a year?
And there's a lot of contracts that try to go 5 years. I know here we don't allow them to go up 3 years. We don't allow auto renew. So technically we're supposed to renew them every 3 years. So I would say I would be trying to shoot for a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
So with Blackstone,
Right.
but I don't know what they'll
It's
agree to.
gonna
They
be,
might just do it year by year,
right,
which puts us in a bind.
right,
All of a sudden they say, yeah, I'm not taking yours anymore.
right.
So I don't know what the next best solution is.
Yeah, we'll have to connect and get up there. Plead our case. We get accepted.
Yeah,
How many gallons do we take out a week? 2 loads a week, right?
3. 1 on Tuesday, 2 on Friday, and 9,000 gallons apiece, at 27,000 gallons. A little over 12,000 a month. 12 to 13,600, something like that. 13,700, $600 a month.
So outside of Synagro, Upper Blackstone, is there any other places that could? I'm thinking if they can't take the full, if we could split it up a little bit.
Well, we're really small
Yeah.
compared to other sites. And the other sites are taking out at
Millions.
least 1 to 2 loads a day.
Okay, so we're not.
We're small compared to most of the others, so it shouldn't be a huge deal for them to take.
Okay.
I know one of the other ones that we'd originally looked at was in New York, so the trucking cost is
that'd
going to
be
kill us there.
Huge, I would think.
Yeah, we're fairly limited, and everybody's in the same boat, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully it ends on a positive note with that.
I don't know how Rhode Island's going. I don't know how Rhode Island's gonna burden losing that revenue stream, but, you know,
What is-
they weren't keeping up with the plant to begin with, because of money, but now you take away that revenue source,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's Dudley doing?
Dudley sends it to Webster, so Dudley doesn't have any wastewater plant or anything, so.
Oh, they don't?
No, all their wastewater goes to Webster. And then we just have an intermunicipal agreement with them. We fight every year on how much we should pay them.
Webster gets picked up too, right?
Yeah,
That goes to Centergrove?
yeah. Webster's one that was looking at, originally they budgeted $4 million just to go through the process of figuring
Study.
out, to study what they could do with the sludge. And then they worked out a deal with Upper Blackstone.
They did?
But
I would think if they can work out a deal, we should be able to work out a deal.
What are their solids? Are they,
They're still looking at trying to thicken
right?
so that they get out of that extra 50%. But they're doing a bunch of upgrades over there. It's running like $8 million.
That's a big plan. All right, so anything else on Synagro? All right, next, we have the budget. Just my first swipe at this, so.
Yeah, and I didn't go through all the numbers yet. I just kind of hit the key points. The big ones typically are the salaries and the other services, which is Synagro. So you'll see there that I increased it by $96,000 over last year. And that's based on the numbers, not the side years in there.
Other services, that was the Synagro increase?
Yeah. On the repairs and maintenance, I dropped it by 141, but that was I took out the previous year's increase for the side projects, the things that are outside of normal. I haven't gone through those numbers yet, so I haven't included them in here. So I was just trying to work on nailing down the initial budget, and then we'll go through the stuff that needs to be repaired and upgraded.
Right, so we still gotta pull out all the stuff that was budgeted last year that
Right, so
isn't
that-
reoccurring, and then,
And that's what I did on this, but I pulled out the additional, the non-reoccurring, from the repairs and maintenance, but then I increased the baseline on that because, and on the wastewater, I didn't increase it on the water. Just because of all the stuff is getting to the same age and things are just starting to fail, so we really gotta start doing a lot more maintenance stuff and upgrades down here. People wanted to have them replace the influent pinch valve, and that's all rolled off right now. You can see where we're standing because we're way behind on things right now. A lot of additional expenses. So we have a pinch valve, but it's just having that company come in and replace it. We need the crane truck and stuff in order to work on that. But we have one on the shelf. We'll have to order another one to put back on the shelf, but we have one on the shelf ready to go in anticipation. So I might have to bite the bullet and have it put in, but I just gotta go through and figure out all this stuff first. Other than that, everything else, right now, I got it all kind of level funded. The Synagro thing definitely went up. I still have the 60,000 in here, but it should move over. I anticipated putting an additional truck on for this year. Because we had said the last few years I need 2 trucks. We budgeted for one for this current fiscal year. I'll budget one for the next fiscal year. We just need to make a decision on what route you guys want to go on that. Whether you want to go with another pickup truck, or do we want to entertain the look at going with like the van style things, or something not so heavy duty, not so typically not another plow vehicle.
I think if you're covered with everything else, it might be worth entertaining. At least do
That's right.
a study on it. At least get pricing and
When I hire his kid for do an analysis.
Yeah.
Nice PowerPoint.
Exactly.
No, so we'll go through those steps. I just didn't want to go through the steps if that wasn't something that you guys want to entertain.
Yeah. So what are we doing with the, like we buy new ones? Well, some of the older vehicles, what I don't want to happen is the vehicles start creeping. We buy a new one, but then don't get rid of the old ones, and then it just continue. So
Well, that's what I said the last few years was that the ones that we're still keeping we're not replacing the ones that we're keeping, we're replacing the ones that we already got rid of.
Yeah.
So once we get this one, then I would say we're at the fleet size we need to be to. It's just a matter of, those aren't ones that are critical to the operation right now. Like if we have a main break and Steve's truck's down, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But the truck that we're looking at ordering right now will resolve that issue. The next one to replace to be, one of the more critical ones would probably be the F-250. The older F-350, which needs to go, but that one for just...
That's Steve's old truck?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Josh uses that one all the time.
Okay. That's the service body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old service one.
Yeah. So, I would say that one we don't need to replace with a service body. Something for like Josh or the secondary, the assistant chief operator for the sewer. They could probably get away with like a Ranger size or something smaller along that route. But the F-250 we should have a full-size pickup with the lift gate, and I'd probably think about something with like a little crane in the corner. You ever see those cranes? That
Yeah,
The little post.
yeah, one of those little post things, just for pulling the pumps at the wastewater stations and stuff. Because I can tell you that the little winches that we have that you crank, you gotta spin that sucker like 30 times to get it to go up an inch. You have to have like a 3-man tag team crew to sit there and crank those pumps up. Because your arm kills you after about 5 minutes of spinning that thing.
Yeah. So that Jeep up at on Mobile,
Yeah.
that we're just gonna scrap that.
Yeah,
Have
scrap
somebody
that,
call and
yeah.
get that scrapped out.
Yeah.
And then I noticed it has plates on it. So are we still paying insurance on that?
No.
Okay.
No, I had them take that off.
That's
the
all.
insurance.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I seen the plate on it, and I was thinking that making sure we're not still insuring something we're not using. With the
I didn't make it
expense.
that far, I got stuck up there. Had the trailer.
What happened?
I was gonna drop the cabinet off up there, and I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. Yeah, really tight. Truck that doesn't turn with a trailer.
Yeah.
No. Taking off the trailer. Hauling it around.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we could maybe you could just give us a list of the current vehicles that are going to be that are in service, what the purpose of each one would be. So
Yep.
yeah, it's easily defined and what it's being used for,
Yeah.
and then obviously the needs moving forward, what we need for.
Yeah.
You may find that the van, something like a van may be better.
Yeah.
Might be cheaper for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can get like a 2-wheel drive van and still put a trailer hitch on it, just so Josh could bring the little trailer to move the mower and stuff to the different sites to cut the grass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look at
I guess we just need to know what the purpose of the vehicle is for. Who's gonna
Yeah, they can spec something based on that.
Right.
Yep.
So. Yeah, so this is pretty much generally. So I haven't gone through. This is the first pass, so.
Yeah. Like I said, I still got to do some work on it. I just wanted to at least give you something out there. The salaries should be about right. I don't know if you guys are doing anything else. I did take out the part-time wages. That was the summer help that we were hiring in the past.
Yeah.
We got Josh. He takes care of most of the stuff that they would take care of. We'll have the secondary water operator now. So that's another body here that can take some of the stuff that those kids would have did. So I did remove those two from the budget, so that's $6,000 out of the budget.
Okay.
increased the overtime just because we've been getting killed with overtime down here. And then with an additional person, the overtime will go up a little bit because right now you guys don't pay me to be in for every other weekend, so you're saving that much on, on overtime, which will go up when we add another person to the rotation. I haven't got the numbers from the town yet on the health insurance, the retirement, the FICA, the HSA, the town waiver, the opt-out, that stuff.
Yeah.
Same with the insurance premiums. Those are numbers that I wait for from the town hall, and they're usually closer to the end of when our budget season is.
So typically, I think, I mean, you know how I like to usually the structure. I like to
Balanced budget.
well, obviously, balanced budget needs to be done, but
The baseline, and then we look at
right,
the edge.
you get the baseline budget where you know that these are the fixed expenses that we have to, you know, this is going to happen, and then we have the additional expenses, which are a lot of the big ticket ones, the non-reoccurring ones,
Yeah.
and then we can see how that.
The wish list.
Yeah, plug all those in.
Well, some of them I can tell you are not wishes. They're
Yeah, right,
have to
right,
get done.
Yeah. Necessity list.
We don't
and-
operate too much on the wish list down here.
And the wish list, yeah.
So yeah, I'll retweak this a little, but I figured I'd at least get you guys a draft. You can start looking at it. If you have ideas or thoughts in your head, just either text them to me or email me.
So the training and education, one of the things, are we up on, I know with the OSHA stuff, and then also with the hydraulic licenses, is everybody, I know we have the mini, so I'm just curious to make sure that everybody
Steve's the
gets,
only one authorizing that one right now.
it's just Steve's authorizing it.
Yeah.
So are we gonna try to, are you gonna get yours?
I'll get mine again.
Okay.
I mean, I had mine, but I
Yeah.
just, unfortunately, I let my stuff lapse this year, or last year, because I just didn't have time to go through all the stuff.
Yeah. I guess I just wanna make sure we have the equipment, so we wanna make sure everybody's
Yeah, so
gonna operate.
I'll check with the new hire to see if he has it. I'd probably want to at least get him to get his, because 90% of the time when we're going to be using that, it's going to be digging for water stuff. That's not big enough to do most of the sewer jobs. Sewer jobs are typically deeper, bigger.
Yeah.
You need some bigger equipment. So it would be fixing gate boxes,
Yeah.
curb boxes, small jobs like that. So that would be the water operators. And, you know, sometimes Steve might need to be in the hole as opposed to in the machine, depending on who we have. So we definitely need more than one person, and probably not just me and Steve. So
Yeah.
I would look at him getting that, and then I'll play around, you know, depending on what we get for an assistant chief operator. And then I'll still feel out our other employee to see how I feel with him being able to do something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll get people licensed for it first. But the training wasn't really geared towards that. The training is more for maintaining our water and wastewater licenses. So we're restarting a new training year.
Yeah.
Luckily, I caught a course last week. It was 2 days long, but it got me 15 hours on my sewer, and it was a free course, so I jumped on that one just to save us money on training because it was free. So I only need 5 more hours on the wastewater, but then I still need all my water license hours. So, but I typically look for the free ones that I can do while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah.
But these guys are all going to need training, and then, you know, now we got an additional staff member. And it was put in there under the offer. I did talk to him. He's fine with trying to get the 2. He's fine with trying to get his wastewater license, so, you know, we'll anticipate some costs. I didn't up the sewer portion of it because I wasn't anticipating him working on the sewer the first year. I want to focus on him getting his 2
2T.
on the water side.
Yeah.
He doesn't really need a 2T, he needs a 1T, 2D, so we got to get him up on the distribution, get him a 2D.
Yeah. I thought correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the job description says you're supposed to have for that position.
I'll double check.
And then what's a 4M?
Is that on there?
Yeah, that's on the wastewater side.
Okay, that was listed. That was listed under was it 4M? I think I have to go back and look, but on the job description for the secondary.
Yeah, it's probably preferred. It's not required.
Okay.
So, and that's something that I put in the job offer letter
Yeah.
to get a 4M or higher.
Yeah. So I think in the job description for that it's in there, so that's why I was
Yeah.
concerned about the licensing on that.
Yeah, so it's in there, and that was in the offer letter too,
Okay.
to work towards getting the 4M or higher.
Yeah.
So we'll work on getting that, because I want people cross-trained, and
Yeah.
plus to do the weekend rounds. You know, the water's more stringent on the license requirement for doing stuff like that. The wastewater is, they look at it more as, all right, you need a license, but you don't, you could get away with a 1M down here to do it, because you're not making changes, you're not fixing things, you're not making operational changes. It's just to come in and check all the numbers. If you see something out of the ordinary, you're going to call either me or
Right.
Peter.
Report it to make
Somebody
the
with a higher license, I'll come in and make whatever changes are necessary. On the water side, they look at it a little different mentality. They look at it as, oh, well, if they're not knowledgeable enough, then how do they know
Yeah.
what needs to be fixed? Or,
Right.
But there's not really much lower licenses to get on the water side, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So everything else is really those are just the numbers that you put in there, the talking points for today. So I guess
Yeah.
we'll need to.
So you guys want to have a specific meeting for the budget?
Yeah, I think we probably should.
Yeah.
So
So before the next meeting?
yeah, maybe 2 weeks. And so.
27th. The afternoon, evening or something?
So our next scheduled meeting is what normal schedule will be February 10th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 27th? Is that good with everybody?
Are you doing it at night?
You just let me know so I can schedule.
Are you able to do a night, evening?
I can just take it off in advance.
Yeah,
Special if it-
that might turn into a marathon.
Yeah.
It might be.
Sometimes it
It might
gets
be a little
longer.
bit better. Selfishly for me.
No, it works fine. You guys switched it over until I can switch back. I can make it work.
Okay. All right, so why don't we'll schedule that for January, just strictly for the budget?
Yep.
January 27th at, what time do you guys want to come in want to go for 6? Or you want to go for 7?
I can go earlier. Don't matter to me.
I get my daughter on that night, so I'm gonna do something with her either before or after, so. All right, to get her fed and stuff, so one way or another.
Okay, so what time would work best for you, Bob?
I'd probably shoot for the 7, that way
Okay.
I can at least run home. And,
Okay, we'll schedule that for 7 o'clock.
7 p.m.
So, 27th at 7 p.m. Okay. Okay, next we have, any other discussion on the budget?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Old business? Anybody have any old business? Any old business? Old business, okay. Bob, old business? Okay, some of the future agenda item, the irrigation, we're gonna meet with, how are we gonna move forward on that? We talked about, with the consultant.
Yeah.
say that again?
We talked about
utilizing the
Utilize
consultant.
the consultant to come up with some language on that.
So it must have slipped my mind because I haven't talked to a consultant on that one. But
Yeah.
so, what are you looking at for?
I think because it's a bylaw change, right? He
Yes.
said we'll try to get together with the consultant to
So
see how they
use for
think.
consultant, like Stantec, or I'm not sure what type of consultant you want.
Well, I thought we've got to review the minutes again on that. I watched the last meeting. We talked about. I thought we talked about consulting with Stantec, which would be Gina, and maybe working with her on the
I
process.
just want to make sure.
I mean, if needed, I mean, if it can be done, if you're comfortable.
It's not going to be cheap going through with Stantec.
I know it's going to be expensive. So maybe if you could look at it, put together a scope, what needs to be done on that, and then we can evaluate. But it has to be done. Obviously, you got to go back from town meeting, work backwards on the time for
Yeah, that's where we're running.
all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't see it being that complicated, but when you get in the municipal world, things
let me,
tend to spiral.
If you guys are fine with me reaching out to there's a smaller engineering firm with Charlton, McClure Engineering. I'll reach out to him, see if he's interested. We can also do the tank rehab that we need to do. We can do that. Put that package together and put it out to bid. I'll talk to him and see if he's interested in doing something like that. 'Cause I think that'll be a little more affordable than Stantec super time involved. He's more local. He's actually done some work in town. He was working on that design for, I don't know the guy's name, but South West Main. There's a big farm there that they were put development in.
Yeah.
So I know he did one of the designs and I saw him come through for that. So he's worked within town. It's not that far from here, so. I think he typically hires a lot of engineers right out of college, so he's got some younger staff that he might be able to take advantage of pricing the West. Put some of that together. So I'll reach out to him if you want.
Yeah, that or, I mean, if you don't think we need it, I mean, if it can be just removed from the general bylaw, if you eliminate just that whole section, and then put it as a policy within the department, so we can just stay up to date with the DEP requirements, or what the best management practices, if it changes, we can just adopt.
So some of the stuff that's in the bylaw is water use restriction. We have to have that in there for the drought scenarios.
Right.
So we have to have the ability, and it asks us on the reports that we have every year if the town has a bylaw for that purpose. So I can't eliminate,
Yeah, no,
but
not to eliminate the whole, just the irrigation portion of that. I understand that with all the
yes,
requirements.
I have to have stuff in there to say that we can still say, yeah, you can't use any river.
So if we could eliminate the irrigation portion and then just adopt the policy from within this board that for the use restrictions and da-da-da-da. Which is just going to be consistent with, which I would recommend, just go consistent with what the DEP guidelines are. Right. On irrigation.
So how do we address that? We got to look at something on the enforcement portion of that. Following those guidelines. I know you guys abate a sewer portion for a customer that, in my opinion, still does not follow those guidelines at all. When we had the data before the meter got disconnected, they were watering every single night, which is why the grass still looks terrible. You can't water it that much. The roots don't grow deep enough. You step on the grass, it destroys it. You gotta starve the grass a little bit of water so it goes deeper with the roots. The grass isn't going to grow as tall as your roots. So if you don't starve it from water at all, the grass isn't going to grow right. You're not going to have good grass. So.
I'm thinking on the private side, and you're talking about school, right? Yeah. So I think the private side, that's going to be up to the homeowners to follow what the guidelines are. Obviously,
But if you're putting it in to say
there's no exception
you're going
meters.
to follow.
There's no exception meters on
Right,
residential.
that's a revenue issue that we're talking about. I'm just saying, to enforce. I'm just telling you, because you're saying we just want to have it follow DEP guidelines. But if they're not following those guidelines and they're just wasting, at what point do we step in and enforce following the DEP guidelines?
Well, you're talking about other town entities, things like, so I think a conversation with that entity would
I'm
probably-
not saying
yeah,
just for that entity.
yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
I'm using them as an example because I already see that they don't follow those guidelines. Even though we specifically explained to them all the issues that they were having, they still don't listen to what I said. So I anticipate homeowners not listening either. And there's a lot of that stuff in the requirements where they say, what's your enforcement mechanism? And that was one of the things that I was going to talk about on our next future agenda items.
Well, we're the only town around that doesn't allow irrigation, so
Right,
it's
but
not like we're rewriting this new.
No, but I'm in meetings with all those other people
Yeah.
that have those, and
Yeah.
that's some of the huge conversations right now as to enforcement. How are you enforcing them to follow the rules
Yeah.
and the guidelines that you have in place?
Maybe talk to other communities and say, the ones that allow the irrigation, say,
I've been talking.
what do you guys do? How would you enforce
So
it?
that's-
What's working, what doesn't work?
Right. So that's the big thing is some of them are going in with the fines and everything, and then one town said, oh yeah, every time we go in, we put tons of effort into this, and it costs us a ton of money gathering all the data, documenting, putting it all together. We fine them, we take it to court. And one judge dismisses them all, another judge cuts everyone to 50%. So if you fine them $1,000, they cut it to $500. And they're like, that's not covering the costs that we're putting into it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of complaints on the water side from how much additional work it is and enforcing it. And then, we get it on the regulatory side where, hey, you guys aren't enforcing this stuff. So they want to see in the bylaws, what's your enforcement mechanism? Who does it? Is it the police? Is it the water department? Who has the authority to impose those penalties? So, and then how are you doing it and how are you tracking it? So they're looking for, if they see that you've never had a violation, then they feel you're not enforcing your rules because they know people aren't going to follow them. So that's a lot of the conversations that have been going on
And I'm not
this past year.
anticipating we're not going to get a mad rush of irrigation people coming in.
No, I'm just saying that the big conversation
With
right
such a
now,
small.
I eliminate the conversation because we said we ban it, we don't allow it. But once we allow it, they're going to be asking me, where is this and where's your documentation showing that you're trying to enforce it? So,
Big truck in. Tuesday.
So
Somebody parked
my
there.
truck's on this. My truck's out on the side over there.
Kyle's.
Mine?
Yeah, some of these truck drivers don't have drive trucks. Actually, I should say most of these truck drivers don't have drive trucks.
All right, so let's.
I did offer to have a 13-year-old come down and drive for one of them.
I'm gonna wait. Yeah, we'll wait till.
What is he got a swing in here to?
Like I said,
Oh no, that's Colin. Colin's on the outside.
oh, he's over there?
I'm on the far outside, up against the side. Yeah.
I don't know which truck he's having an issue with.
Is the key in yours?
Yeah. I think he's gonna swing in this way though, right?
He does. But
Yeah.
He goes down there.
Yeah.
So he drives down and then he tries to back into here. So Kyle's truck's in the way here. Yours is probably in the way there, but it's really not. I can get around both of them. Like I said, I offered to have my 13-year-old come and drive the truck for one of the guys.
I have no idea.
Oh, I do. You should see the one that came in here one time. He drove over our flagpole. And then he almost hit the wall. And you see where the wall is. About 40 feet past the grass.
We haven't hit the building, missed the dock completely.
Yeah.
Hit like the buffers, so when the truck backs in, everything's sealed.
Yeah.
Took that out. I did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that. 8-10 backups, straight in.
Which one did he have the issue with?
Mine.
Don't they sometimes back off the road?
They usually do.
No, they haven't done that since Ballard took over. When it was actual Synagro drivers,
Yeah,
every
we
one of
used
them did that.
Yeah, I
They would
remember that.
pull up and back in.
Yeah.
Right.
Easiest thing ever.
Right.
Yeah, none of these guys do that.
Yeah, so that on the irrigation, so I don't think, and then the other part of it is that the homeowner, they're paying for the water, they're not gonna typically
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I mean, we'll get the ones that, we'll have the odds, right? And again, there's no,
Like I said, we've had a lot of conversations throughout all the different towns, and some of the towns are saying, yeah, we've got customers that they say, I don't care, give us the fine. We want our grass. So
yeah.
they're watering and wasting water like crazy, and then they pay the fine on top of it. They don't care.
Yeah.
So, but you'll get them.
Yeah. There'd be no perfect scenario in anything.
No, I'm just saying we need to consider that we have to have some type of enforcement mechanism when you allow it and when we say there's restrictions.
Yeah, the restrictions will just exactly be what the DEP.
Right, but from our water withdrawal permit says that we have to institute a non-essential water restriction every summer
Right.
from May to the end of September that says no water in between 9 and 5.
Yeah.
But people are still going to do it.
Yeah.
They don't understand that it's more damaging than helpful. So.
I think conversation usually works with those who carries along with people. You just explain to them.
Didn't with the woman that fight with me.
For the most, they're never going to be a perfect scenario, like I said.
I know. Like you're saying, it's one of the things that we have to add in there because the state's required that you have to have an enforcement mechanism.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on future agenda?
That was old business.
Oh,
Oh, that was future. Yeah, so in future, I thought we were still going to for something. So one of the things I want to look at, and a lot of the stuff that we've been going through, a few times we've attempted to start to go down that road. And I got to get things fixed down here before we can pursue that. But for the water reuse, if we can reuse the wastewater effluent, we looked at it with Dolphin A's because they were looking to tie into town water and wanted like 60,000 gallons a day, which we really can't afford to give them. But they would have the ability to reuse the wastewater. There was another one with one of the two buildings that was going to go in. There was different projects that were discussed. One of them needed like a couple 100,000 gallons of water a day, which again we can't provide on the drinking water side, but we might have the couple 100,000 gallons a day to take out of the wastewater side. So one of the things that it's probably a 2-year process for me to be able to get that approved through DEP for us to reuse the effluent. They're pushing that's a lot of the stuff that moving forward. They're going to start pushing more for the reuse stuff to take the demand off of the drinking water supply. So I don't know if we can add something to get them to, like say, the next building that goes in, if we're talking about another big building, if we can put something in to require them to separate like the toilet plumbing as opposed to the sinks, anything that they would use for drinking water or whatever. Just so we can have the plumbing separated. It's kind of like the multifamily buildings. If you get people to separate all the plumbing up front to the different units, you can just have separate meters and pass that on to the tenants. But if you've got a house that's all plumbed off of one and, they go up one wall and use the same bathroom pipes.
Yeah, whichever building is like that.
Right, most of your old ones are like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying a lot of the newer ones they try to design where it's all
Right.
separated.
Yeah.
So if we can do that up front and put something in place to have them separate all the lines that are toilet off of a separate line, so that in the event that we can push forward with getting the reuse permit for our wastewater, we might be able to pipe that and have them, for the toilet water, just reuse effluent water quality. The DEP demands a higher standard for discharge than we currently have. Actually, it's pretty close, but they require a chlorine residual, which we don't chlorinate, so we'd have to add that process. But I just think that we should start pushing forward to try to plan for that. And if we get them to do that now, I mean, you've had buildings that have plumbing that it's not affordable for you to go in and repipe something to get just so you can meter and pass that cost on.
Yeah.
But if you can get them to institute it now and put in a separate plumbing pipe, which we'll just tie back into the same pipe right now, but just so we can cut that tie and tie it into a separate line, just to try to push for the ability for us to reuse that water. I think it would be overall, if we can get it converted so that we can do that, it'd be a saving to that customer, and it'd be a saving to us, both on the water and the wastewater side.
Yeah. I guess I'm not fully understanding the whole process on that, so
Yeah.
I'd have to sit with you and kind of digest that and see exactly
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying.
how that would play out in the actual field, and how do you get it back here?
Well, the wastewater would still come back here. I'm just saying we would have to pipe from here to there. So I mean, it's really not.
Right, that's what
It's
I'm
not
saying.
cost effective to do something like up at where the fire department is. You know, if somebody builds something up there, it's not cost effective for us to get up to there. But being down here, all our commercial stuff is down this end. So in the event that we get it approved and move forward, say Dolphin A stayed in that area, you know, we could repipe from here to go down there. Once we get the pipe down there, you know, if we convince the mill to tie into it, their cooling water for their operations down there, their cooling towers, I think they use probably 15,000 gallons a day. And as they go through their process, that's all just evaporated, so it doesn't come down here. But if we can get some of these things tied in, and the more we eliminate discharge to the river here,
Right.
it eliminates contaminants that we're putting in the
So
river.
how are we going to get it back to here? That's
Not back to here. Back to here is through the current process. It's
Right.
from here to there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So we just need to-
effluent as fresh water.
Yeah.
So it'd be coming back through sewer.
You come back through sewer, back.
Treat it. We would just treat
as
it
a
and
special
send it back.
line.
Right.
And send it back up.
So we need to send, and
So what are you proposing? Doing it at a discounted rate? Selling them effluent water at a discounted rate?
yeah, I mean, it depends on what we come at. I'd have to look at all the numbers as to the rate or whatever, but you know, that's going to be based on, obviously we don't want it to cost us more money,
Right.
but there's going to be a little bit of an expense there, but we also got to look at what we're saving on the other end. So if we can reuse that, it opens it up that we can sell more water to more customers without the huge expenses of additional wells or
Right.
whatever. My point right now is
Not
just
for domestic, but for use with
Yeah,
Commercial.
commercial
commercial, yeah.
uses.
Like
that-
he said, for concrete or
Yeah, I mean,
something.
one of the trainings that I was in, they said that they are working towards direct reuse for potable water. I'm like, man, you try to sell that to people in this town, you're
Right. So
wearing
like,
flak jackets.
so I guess that wouldn't really affect what you were talking about, like other buildings, because it's still coming back down on the existing infrastructure, and then it would be treated here, and then it's just coming out of here going somewhere else.
Right.
Right.
So then you wouldn't be doing any separation on a.
Not down there, no. And the wastewater's not going to have separation. It's the plumbing within the building. I need to separate. When you have your domestic water line, say you got a 2-inch line, or let's say a 4-inch line feeding a building, like
Yeah.
a big commercial
Yeah.
building. Right now, they just take that 4-inch line and they just off it to everything.
Yeah.
You'd want to separate out like a 2-inch line off of that just feeds the toilets, so that it's
Things that
completely
can take-
isolated, so you know that that line isn't feeding a sink
Yeah.
or a bubbler or
Anywhere you would drink.
right,
Right.
or wash your hands or showers or anything like that.
I actually watched a few things overseas and stuff, and they have it, like your sink water fills up your toilet water.
Right, yeah, when you're using that. it's
Yeah,
just-
so literally you're never getting fresh water into the toilet. It's all gray water.
I can tell you Sutton Schools, I mean, they're designed that way because they have a wastewater treatment plant on site, and they send the wastewater effluent back to the toilets there.
So it could be done internally instead of.
Internally in the building, yes.
Yeah.
But, well, not to reuse their water, I'm just saying for reusing our wastewater effluent. After we treat it, it's clean water. And we can't sell it to people to use for drinking water,
Right.
but we would be able to sell it and they can put it in their
Yeah.
toilets.
Yeah.
But I need them to have the plumbing done ahead of time. Otherwise, you know, trying to convince somebody to go and say, hey, we need you to change all this.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Right, but if you can get them to design it in the new building now, it would be affordable and easy to do at this point. It's not gonna happen after the fact.
Yeah. I'm looking to it, yes.
But if we can start pushing towards that,
Yeah.
you know, just like I said, it's for the future stuff, but
Yeah. Okay. Anything
Anything else on future agenda? No? Okay, open session for topics not reasonably anticipated 40 hours in advance of the meeting? Everything?
No?
No? Okay. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn at, let's see, what time is it?
9:43.
9:43.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that was seconded by Phil.